My name is AG. Welcome to Galaxy, and today I am so very excited to be bringing you the very first Galaxy Gauge. Galaxy Gauge is going to be a series of videos in which I watch a movie or play a video game, and I give you my review on it, or I put it on the Galaxy Gauge. Um, Cute little name, and I just went out and watched Smile last night, and I just decided that it was, time to start our very first series, apart from the Cuphead series. And yeah, Galaxy Gauge is going to be on video games, movies, um, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. But yesterday, I went and watched Smile because I wasn't gonna watch this movie, uh, just because uh, like horror movies are like one of my favorite video movie genres, and I it's been a lot to be left desired with horror movies as of late. I can't remember the last time I watched one in theaters, and I definitely can't remember the last one I watched that I enjoyed in theaters. The last one that I can think of was Hereditary, and that shit was like what, 2018, 2019. So yeah. In terms of horror movies in the Hollywood scene, it's not been very kind to us. Me and my brother, we loved watching Scream growing up as children, and when I watched that Scream 5, we watched it together, and man, it was just it sucks to see. But I've been watching videos and just seeing the reviews on Smile. Brought to you by Blumhouse, I believe. I love Blumhouse. The creators of Purge, they created Truth or Dare, they created, I believe, Unfriended. They span over a lot of I don't know if indie is the word, but like low budget horror movies, and Smile is no different. But I guess it looked to me, and I know to a lot of other people, Smile looked a lot like Truth or Dare if you've ever watched that film. But everyone said it was different. It wasn't exactly Truth or Dare, and it had a lot of potential. So I was like, you know what? Let's go out. Let's watch this. It's Halloween time. Let's get a little spooky wooky. And so I went and watched, and I was pleasantly surprised. This movie wasn't as bad as I was led to believe, just because I just had a bad taste of horror movies in my mouth as of late. And no, it really held up. It was a very solid movie. If you've never watched Smile, this might be a spoiler review. Not really sure, but if you've never watched it, it starts off with this woman named Rose, and she's a therapist, and she has a patient come in, and the patient seems to, I believe. Hold on, let me backtrack. The patient saw her professor killed right in front of her, and then the Rose is obviously she's distraught. She's like, you know, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? And then the lady's going kind of crazy, saying, I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things that aren't there, seeing things that are impersonating other people. And she's like, well, she's a therapist, so she's thinking like logically and like seeing maybe, you have mental issues. You might be seeing things maybe schizophrenic, or maybe have some post-traumatic stress. And then the lady's just screaming back at her, no, no, I'm not crazy. This is real. You don't understand. And then the lady goes ahead and kills herself right in front of Rose. And then Rose is just like, what the hell is going on? That's where it starts off. And basically, yeah, this is going to be a spoiler review. When that lady killed herself in front of Rose, she passed on the curse of the smile. So the curse, it's like a whole, you're trying to figure out throughout the whole movie what the curse is. And the curse is basically you have to kill yourself in front, well, not you have to. When you kill yourself in front of someone, that passes the curse onto them, and within like 4 to 7 days, they go and do it to somebody else, hence passing the curse onto them. So the whole movie is basically her trying to figure out what is happening to her, because it's nothing psychological, it's nothing mental, it's a curse. And so it's just it really trips you out, because honestly in the movie she's like, you can tell she's like losing her shit and she's going crazy, but as a viewer you feel like you're going crazy. And what I mean by that is there are parts in the movie that keep repeating themselves. So say, let me think of one. What happened? Um, let's say near the end of the movie. So she goes and talks to this guy, the only guy that survived from the curse, and he's in prison for murder. And she's talking to him, and she's like, what do I have to do to beat this curse?" And then he's like, "You have to kill someone, and that's the curse moves on to someone else." And so she's like, okay, bet. So she drives to her job, which she was laid off of her job because they were like, "Bitch, you crazy. So you cannot work here with a bunch of patients who are also psychologically, going down the hill." And so she pulls up to one of the patients that she takes care of, and she just goes to his room and just she's thinking about stabbing him, and then her higher up comes in and he's like, "Rose, what are you doing?" And she's like, I'm not sure." And then he's like, "You can't be here." She turns around and stabs this man to death, right? And then he's like laughing, smiling, and then I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" She turns around to her boss, and then he's just peeling his face off. And I'm like, "Yo, what is going on?" And then boom, right after that, she's in her car. It never happened. And scenes like that happen all the time in this movie. And it's like it's crazy because that's not something new in horror. That has been a reoccurring thing in horror. But the way they just bash it into your head, you're like, "Am I going crazy?" That is like probably one of my favorite things about this movie. Like you experience the whole torturous aspect with her. Like you're like, and it just keeps repeating itself and repeating itself to where you're like, I feel where Rose is coming from. And I feel like that's where the director was trying to come with this movie, trying to make you feel like you're crazy, so you even, kind of relate more to Rose. Because Rose, her husband, not giving a fuck about her. Her husband basically said, "Bitch, you crazy." Put in a therapist that she used to have back in the day and was like, "You need to talk to her." She's like, "Get the fuck out of my house. Y'all tripping." And she has to resort to going to her ex-boyfriend, who's a fucking cop, to get all the like details and what happened, the other suicides. And it was a really it was a pleasant surprise. I will say that to the least. Um, I just thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'm jumping all around. I am so sorry. This is my first time doing a review, but I'm just talking. So yeah, deal with it. Uh, so Rose, she witnessed her mother's suicide, and I was so confused by that because I was like, okay, so did she get her curse at that age? Because she witnessed her mother's suicide when she was 10, but then she also witnessed another suicide at the beginning of the movie, which was her patient. So I was confused. I was like, okay, did she get the curse when she was 10? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that was confused by that. But she goes back to the house where her mother committed suicide because she's at the point where, she's on like her fourth day. And she's like, yeah, if in order for the curse to pass on to someone else, someone has to witness you committing suicide. So she goes to the old home and she isolates herself from everyone. And her ex-boyfriend's like, "Rose, like, where are you? Like, I'm gonna find you, bro." She's like, "Leave me alone. I can't be around people." So, what I'm saying? She stays at her mom's old house, and then, of course, some crazy shit gonna pop off. She walks into the room, and her mother's there. What I'm saying? Head in hands, and she looks up, and I'm expecting a smile, which this was a great like twist, because like throughout the whole movie you're just seeing smiles, 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 but this one was different. The curse obviously was like, nah, this she's too smart. Got to get in her head a little bit, and so it's her mother, and then she's talking to her. She's like, what I'm saying, "You're the reason I died." And she's like, "I was 10. I didn't know what to do." You know what I'm saying? And then the design for the monster, man, that thing was great. Like it started off, her and her mother are like arguing and stuff, and then the monster just like she closes the door. Monster opens the door and just gets so huge, and I'm like, I'm so glad Cause like any other like curse movie or you know how it is, like it's a spirit, so like you know what I'm saying, you can't really do much to it, and it's always it just seems like the main character has no like chance of defeating it. But you actually for a second feel like Rose has a chance because it's physical. It's not like just psychological. No, that now you know the monster is physical. So she runs to the living room. She has a lantern in her hand. They crack the lantern, and then I think the monster was like choking her out or something. And then the monster's like, "I am in your mind." You know what I'm saying? I'm all in your mind. That's why I'm gonna defeat you. And then she's like, "That's exactly it. You're in my mind." And blah blah blah. Says some stupid shit. She grabs the lantern, smacks the monster with it. The monster is on fire, screaming, going crazy. And she escapes, and she drives to her ex-boyfriend's house, and she's like, can I stay here? Like, can you watch over me while I sleep? He's like, of course. I'll always be here. Forever. And then you start smiling. And you're like, what the fuck? And then again, the movie gets you again. They fucking rewind time. And then she's back in the house. None of that ever happened. And I'm like, oh my lordy lord. This movie is going to make me go crazy. And that's when her ex-boyfriend pulls up. I forgot Joel. Sorry, I keep saying ex-boyfriend. His name was Joel. Joel pulls up and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna let you." She's like, "No, stay outside." And then she's like fighting the monster off and shit. And then this was like, this was one of, like such great visual effects. The fucking monster rips his face off. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he rips his face off. Like, yeah, like rips that shit off, and then he fucking grabs Rose's face and starts ripping her mouth. Oh my god, shit was crazy. Starts ripping her mouth open to get inside her mouth. That was so like dope. Like visually was so great. Like I feel like that's so fucked up to say. It was visually like stunning. Like it was props to the visual effects team for that. But that was like dope as fuck. And then Joel gets in, you know what I'm saying? He's like, Rose. And then she's standing there, turning around. You see it coming, you know what I'm saying? And she's like pouring fucking like. First of all, where the fuck did she get gasoline? I didn't see gas. I didn't see shit in that house besides a bed and a lantern. She got gasoline out of fucking nowhere. They need to fucking figure out how to write that in because that was bullshit. She got gasoline out of nowhere, and then she had matches. And she turns around, strikes the match, and he's like looking at her like staring. Everyone in my theater is like, run, run, run. And I'm like, nah, he ain't running. That's his baby girl. And then she like lights the house on fire and kills herself. And then I believe that's the end of it. You know, with all this popularity, I believe there's probably going to be a Smile 2, probably with Joel as the main character, because Blumhouse is saying, damn, this movie, but I don't really see Blumhouse doing like sequels as much. With Purge, obviously, they made fucking 17 Purges, but I don't know. I'd watch a sequel. Why not? I think it was a pretty cool movie. If we're gonna plug it into the Galaxy gauge, I will give it a 7 out of 10 Galaxies. That was very fun to do. My very first Galaxy gauge. I'm going to be doing a lot more. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. More content I'm going to be uploading tomorrow. I'm going to be uploading the day after that. Yeah, I've been off my shit. I haven't uploaded in like a fucking week. The last Cuphead video. But I should be doing a gameplay very, very soon, probably Monday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you on the next one. Good.